Hello, I'm the Irish guy, and okay. An entire year ago, today, 14th of June 2023, I did a video tipping every Premier League club to rescue one player who was in the middle of a career crisis. So, it's an entire year later, so let's just see. If I was right to suggest that your club should rescue these damsels in distress, these certain lost souls, let's just see if these suggestions aged well a year later. Probably not. Right, let's go.
Arsenal Sadio Mane. Why not? They need a legit superstar. I know he's 31, but I am sorry. This is a guy with 111 Premier League goals. Get the deal done.
What was I thinking? Tipping Mikel Arteta to buy a completely past and has-been like Sadio Mane. Someone whose hunger for the sport completely vanished. And as soon as he touched down in Bayern Munich airport, yeah, it's a year later and was I right? Was I right to suggest that Arsenal reintroduce a money-grabbing prince back into our Premier League title race? I'm gonna say no, because Mane since then has joined Al Nassr and yeah, his stats are semi-decent. 19 goals and 11 assists, but I should hope so. He's ripping apart defenders who are probably working in libraries at the age of 24. He is somebody who is probably living the quiet life in Saudi because he's completely in the shadow of his teammate Cristiano Ronaldo. Honestly, when they're out for lunch together, CR7 will get absolutely crowded for selfies while Mane, he just awkwardly sits in the corner munching on a sad little scone and texting his wife who, get this, was 10 years old when he joined Liverpool. It's a bit dodgy, mate. Look, if Mane had signed for Arsenal, it would be the equivalent of Usain Bolt choosing to snack on a cheeseburger 2 minutes before an 800-meter dash. Arteta had already cleansed the club of one money-bagging mercenary in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So replacing him with another one? No! This would be like when the Gunners signed Julio Baptista from Real Madrid. Just very, very pointless. I'm giving myself an F for this one.
Aston Villa should Pulisic. Aston Villa should sign Pulisic. They can offer European football and a top-class manager in Unai Emery. And I'm sorry, but can you imagine a front three of Leon Bailey, Ollie Watkins, and an informed Pulisic? Defenders would be begging for mercy.
Now this was me talking sense. Right, so in the first minute of this video, I've managed to throw out a completely useless suggestion, something that makes me look like I've got the IQ of a worm, and now I reckon Unai Emery should have listened to me. Look, Aston Villa paid a club record fee for Moussa Diaby from Bayer Leverkusen in a monster £50 million deal last summer. And look, they've had a great season and he's done well, but I'm guessing this bloke is silently regretting his move to Birmingham. Come on, he just left Leverkusen the minute before they embarked on the single greatest season in the history of the club. He must feel like Giovanni van Bronckhorst, who left Arsenal the summer before they went unbeaten. Both men giving up the chance to become legendary invincibles, immortalized forever. So don't you tell me that when Xabi Alonso lifted the Bundesliga title, that Diaby didn't immediately headbutt the wall of his local Chinese takeaway. Anyway, I honestly believe that Villa should have signed Christian Pulisic from Chelsea. He's instead gone to AC Milan and quietly had an amazing year. 15 goals and 11 assists in 50 matches. Those club doctors have magically fixed this man's broken limbs, and he even scored in the Champions League too at St. James's Park right in front of my face. I've said too much. But yes, USA star boy was absolutely not a lost cause. He has been class in Italy. I'm giving this suggestion an A.
Bournemouth Danny Rose. Okay, I'll admit it. This one just makes me sad to see him now. Just a shell of that figure. Dressed up on TV like Cheryl Cole and admitting to the world that he's fallen out of love with the game. It's really sad, but the guy also hasn't actually retired. Get him in the Bournemouth squad on a free. Make him second choice left back. And who knows, he might be alright.
Oh, and here we are once again talking absolute horse manure. Last summer, Bournemouth were in the hunt for a new left back. And here is me suggesting they sign semi-pundit Danny Rose because he looked sad on Sky Sports. Yeah, Bournemouth went out there and bought one of the best young left backs in Europe, former AC Milan kid Milos Krukes, who right now has been heavily linked with the switch to Manchester United. Danny Rose, by contrast, has not officially retired, but come on. He's 33 years of age and has not played for anyone since leaving Watford 2 years ago. This is somebody who would probably be grateful to receive a trial at #United, so throwing him back into a Premier League job would be insane. Like if 7 years ago you'd have thrown Tyson Fury straight into a ring with Canelo when he was 30 stone and drinking Guinness with his Cocoa Pops. Poor old Rose. Somebody get this guy a gig at Soccer Aid next summer. I think he can handle marking Tom Grennan, but Bournemouth, oh no, this one is an F.
Brentford Jesse Lingard. At 30 years old, he's not subtle, just become a big bag of potatoes overnight. This guy has blown hot and cold his entire career. I reckon soon he's gonna blow hot again. The Forest move did not work, no, but I would suggest a change of position. He's in his 30s. If I were Thomas Frank, I would try to turn Jay Lings into a central midfielder. Lads, replace Mikkel Damsgaard in the middle of the park. Have Lingard be that number 8 in the midfield 3. Teach him the basics of how to actually defend and tackle. And if you can turn this fashionista playboy into a disciplined CM, then Frank, you deserve an extra muffin for dessert.
Oh, this was sort of tragic, wasn't it? Lads, here's me saying that Jesse Lingard should reinvent himself as a central midfielder for Brentford. That he was worth a punt for Thomas Frank. No, he's absolutely just given up in his career because he's since gone on to play in South Korea with FC Seoul, where he's played 7 times, not registered a goal or an assist. By the way, it's nearly 3 years since he last scored a league goal. He's been booed by his own fans, had injury problems, and even been called out by his own manager in public.
I've been thinking a lot about removing Jesse. I don't think a player who doesn't run for a few minutes is a football player. If you run less than a footballer who has played 90 minutes, you're not even a footballer. Fame doesn't win football games. If it did, I would have brought in a famous retired player.
That's his own manager speaking. Yeah, try and get away with minimal work rate at the B's, and Thomas Frank will probably chain him to a pipe in his attic. I'm sorry, Brentford, this suggestion was horrible. Like, I just tipped you to go on a date with your sister. Sorry, F.
Brighton Donny van de Beek. I actually think under Bobby De Zerbi, who plays a similar style to the Ajax team in 2019, I think he'd be top class. Just make sure you have a world-class nurse though, or otherwise, you're never gonna get the stench of his armpits out of the treatment room.
Look, on paper, me suggesting that Brighton signed a midfielder in his mid-20s, who not too long ago was nominated for the Ballon d'Or. This shouldn't be seen as a revolting suggestion as it looks. Brighton fans should not be sneering at it, as if I've just asked them to let a spider crawl on their face. But again, with hindsight, this one does look like a terrible shout. I thought Donny van de Beek could be saved. Don't forget, this is a Manchester United midfielder who nearly joined Real Madrid 4 years ago. But no, if he had gone to Brighton, he'd have been a waste of time. Just like when he had 7 anonymous games on loan at Everton, because last season, he was saved by a club, Eintracht Frankfurt, borrowing him in January. Yeah, he played 10 games with all comps, never started for them again after February, and failed to make it off the bench 7 times. And right now, he's apparently got interest from Girona, who are in the Champions League. But it does feel a bit like Aston Villa becoming Champions League material, and then still shopping a little old Luton town for a similarly fallen giant like Ross Barkley. Forget about Brighton. A big name has been like DVD. He belongs at a club like Nice.
Burnley Philip Coutinho. This actually does make sense. Go to Burnley, who weirdly, under Vincent Kompany, actually play a slick, easy on the eye brand of football, and they also play with a number 10. I just think under Kompany, Coutinho would shine.
Just stop. Look, a year ago, Philip Coutinho was still clinging on to some incy-wincy bit of hype. Even at Villa, he was okay when he first joined, and nearly produced the greatest moment in Liverpool's Premier League history, firing Villa 2-0 up at Etihad on the final day of the title race. I thought that a 31-year-old Coutinho still had something to offer to an attractive, ambitious ball-playing Burnley side. But no, Coutinho, like Jay Lings, he's just given up on himself. He's just had his contract terminated at Villa after a very pointless 7-goal loan spell in Qatar with Al Duhail. He was getting paid £125,000 a week at Al Duhail. I think the only way you'd have forced him to settle for £30,000 a week wages at Turf Moor would be if you threatened to feed his mum to a wolf. Sorry, but this one, it's not quite an F, but considering this just would have never worked, mostly due to the finances and the fact that Burnley were a terrible team, then just E.
Chelsea Paul Pogba. Part of me thinks that Mauricio Pochettino could get this guy to click. If Pochettino plays his familiar 4-2-3-1 formation at Stamford Bridge, then having Pogba in that number 10 role, alternating with Enzo Fernandez during the match, I think he'd be top class. A fit Pogba is a quality Pogba.
Yeah, instead of Chelsea going out there and spending over £100 million on Moisés, my grand master plan was that they should instead sign Pogba. Yeah, great idea, Irish guy. After a completely injury-hit debut season back at Juventus, he then made 2 substitute appearances at the start of this season, and then had his career cancelled by a 4-year ban. Pogba is done. Completely finished. Not allowed to play football again until he's 34. Pogba would have rocked up at Stamford Bridge. And yeah, there would have probably been another Pogback unveiling on social media with, once again, Stormzy being dragged out of bed at 3 AM to, I don't know, half-heartedly rap whilst chewing on a sausage roll. And then Pogba would have been banned. This is like Newcastle signing Sandro Tonali, only 5 times worse. And knowing how naive Chelsea are with wages and contracts, Todd Bowley would have stuck this guy into a very generous 6-year deal worth £300,000 a week. That would have killed the club. Sorry, but F.
Crystal Palace Ross Barkley. Don't give up on Ross Barkley. But listen, all Palace need to do is just sign him up on a free, chuck him in midfield, and tell him to do what Conor Gallagher was doing 2 years ago. It's worth a gamble.
Oh, well, Well, this one doesn't look too nutty now. Doesn't look so stupid now, does it? I told everybody not to give up on Ross Barkley after being a chubby teddy bear wasting away on the Nice bench in France. Yeah, fast forward a year and he's about to once again become a Champions League midfielder. And lads, as I discovered in my last video, Aston Villa fans are protective of their former lonely flop. I said that he was an underwhelming buy from Luton Town at 30 years of age, and some of them in the comments, they nearly choked on their burnt chicken nuggets. Look, Barkley would have been a wonderfully clever signing for Crystal Palace, playing alongside Alan Wharton, Michael Olise, Ibrahim Eze. He would have been excellent for, at first, Roy Hodgson, who did once bring the Scouse Mouse to a World Cup, and then the far more modern, tactically advanced Oliver Glasner. Yet last summer, everyone thought that Barkley was destined for the MLS. I'm giving myself an A+.
Everton Nicolas Pepe. There is ability in this man's feet. The Ivorian's career is very much stuffed down a drain pipe, but he's got 1 year left in his deal. If Sean Dyche could pull off a £9 million switch, this man has more individual quality than any other attacking player in Everton's squad. So yeah, what a bargain buy this would be.
Nah. Look, Nicolas Pepe is a talented footballer, but even still, Sean Dyche's Everton side is built on hard work and graft and organisation. Pepe is a completely spent force. Look, he might have provided 1 or 2 magical moments in an Everton shirt, like James Rodriguez did, but overall, nah, Jack Harrison was a much better fit. Sorry, but D-.
Fulham Alexis Sanchez. Why not? He's not as bad as we all think. He scored 18 goals for Marseille this season. I know he turns 35 in December, but I mean, he's still younger than Willian. I don't know, I think if Fulham can tempt him and his dogs back to London, then a £9 million deal, I think he could have the same impact as Willian.
Alexis Sanchez was an underwhelming Premier League misfit 6 years ago, but he would have still been a coup for Fulham. I know it feels like Sanchez has been finished for years and years, and it does feel like he is a money-grabbing mercenary who should be in the Saudi Pro League by now, but to his credit, he hasn't. Since leaving Old Trafford, he has played over 130 games for a great club like Inter Milan, winning 2 Serie A titles. I'm not ashamed of this Fulham suggestion. He would have been decent for Marco Silva's men, just like how Willian has been. I'm giving myself an A.
Liverpool, Carney Chukwuemeka. Look, this would be a very unusual transfer, but maybe Liverpool could go in there and sign this talented Austrian-born midfielder for about 30 million quid. Maybe Jurgen Klopp could sign him.
This would have just been another Romeo Lavia, a quality young central midfielder who Liverpool wanted to buy from Southampton in the summer. He went to Chelsea instead and has played half an hour of football since, completely ruined by an injury. Carney Chukwuemeka has played 221 minutes, with the rest of the season destroyed by an injury. So again, no, this is a pretty grim, awful shout. A good player, yes, and he's only 20 years of age. Well, he wouldn't have played. Look, this deal would still work out long term because he is a good player, but C.
Luton Town, Dele Alli. I know, Dele Alli has just failed in Turkey, and so everyone thinks that he should just retire. Go to Luton Town on loan. This would be a lifeline for Ali. I know Luton don't play with a number 10, but you can play him in a midfield 5 or as a second striker. I mean, if there are any Luton fans that actually turn this down, oh, give your head a shake.
Again, no. I made this video 1 month before Dele Alli's tell-all interview with Gary Neville, where people went from hounding the guy for being an apparently pathetic, egocentric party boy who loved himself to actually a struggling poor soul. Thankfully, people have gotten off Dele's back and actually want him to succeed now, but he didn't play a single minute for Everton last season due to a terrible injury. Oh, well, was it an injury or was it Everton inventing an injury so they didn't have to fork out an extra £10 million to Spurs? Either way, Dele at Luton, it wouldn't have worked. Ugh, another F.
Man City, Loris Karius. Just take pity on Loris Karius. So maybe just be nice. Give him a contract and make him the next Scott Carson.
Why?
Man United, Mauro Icardi. He's better than Weghorst, alright? I'm not saying that he would be the main centre forward, but as an option off the bench. I mean, he's not even in the same league as Weghorst or Gallo, and he's even better than that version of Cavani. He's got a year left in his PSG deal, so for what? £15 million? Quality buy.
Well, look at that! I suggested that Manchester United sign Mauro Icardi from Galatasaray. 4 months later, and he's scoring the winner at Old Trafford in the Champions League. You should have done it. He scored 32 goals for Galatasaray last season. The first time he'd ever scored 30+ goals in a single campaign. At 31 years old, he would have been the perfect stopgap striker. You could have alternated between him and Rasmus Højlund all season without burning out the Danish centre forward to a point where he now looks like an inconsistent blonde sausage. Signing Icardi, no, it wouldn't have been like when you desperately unveiled the likes of a Gallo or Weghorst. No, it would have been like snapping up Cavani. He scored 17 goals in his debut season at Old Trafford, don't forget. Honestly, Icardi would have been a smart signing. I stand by this one from a year ago. I'm giving myself an A.
Newcastle, Gini Wijnaldum. Listen, a fit Wijnaldum is perfect for Eddie Howe Ball. He's got a year left in his PSG deal, so honestly, £10 million deal. Stick him on the Newcastle bench and see if he can battle his way into the team. I know he's 32, but considering his level of experience, who else at Newcastle has really won anything? This bloke has won the lot. Honestly, Howe could do a lot worse.
What is this? A year ago, I said that Newcastle United, Champions League Newcastle United, should have signed Gini Wijnaldum. No, nowadays, I don't even think he should have made Holland's Euro 2024 squad. Wijnaldum has been completely rotten toast ever since leaving Liverpool. Anonymous at both PSG and Roma, he has since gone to Al Ettifaq to play in front of 30 blokes and their dogs at any given Saudi Pro League match. Look, Newcastle did experience a centre midfield crisis after Sandro Tonali's ban, having to promote a 17-year-old child like Lewis Miley from the reserves, and even the likes of a pensioner like Matt Ritchie. Even he was getting minutes in centre midfield, so Wijnaldum would have been given plenty of chances, but no, he's finished. These days, Miley is probably a better player. I'm giving this one an E.
Nottingham Forest, Aaron Ramsey. Doesn't it seem like such a Nottingham Forest signing? Listen, Aaron Ramsey's career has been in a hole ever since he left the Emirates 4 years ago. A big money disaster at Juventus, a horror show at Rangers where he cost them the Europa League, and finally, just a pretty average spell at Nice. He's available on a free this summer. And I reckon for squad depth, well, go for a Steve Cooper.
Aaron Ramsey would also have been a horrible signing. Arguably the worst one in the list. This is someone who's been finished ever since leaving Arsenal 5 years ago. He's now 33 and did sign for a former club last summer, but it wasn't Forest. It was Cardiff, and it's been a nightmare homecoming. He would have been a waste of time at Forest too. Just a horrible signing. Like when they got their hands on John Joe Shelby, just completely forgettable. Nah, this one is an F.
Sheffield United, Wout Weghorst. What happened to Wout Weghorst's reputation? Don't get it twisted. I know he got a 3 move this season, but he's a football joke right now. But listen, Weghorst's reputation has taken such a huge hit. So I reckon up front in Sheffield United's 3-5-2 system, give him a quick striker to play off him. Play him in the front too, and I reckon he'd score goals.
Well, he'd have been an upgrade on Ollie McBurney. There was never any real hope for Sheffield United last season. He'd have been better than McBurney. I'll give this one a C.
Tottenham Harry Maguire. Look how miserable Harry Maguire looks. But lads, I know he's a joke right now. I know he's a high-profile mess, but he'd be fine for Spurs. So yeah, Maguire at Tottenham would be decent.
I stand by this. Harry Maguire under Ange Postecoglou would have been okay. Yeah, I still think he'd be a good, solid Spurs signing. B.
West Ham Eden Hazard. Lads, West Ham can literally sign this man on a free. Give him a £150,000 a week salary. Just bite the bullet and do it. I mean, come on. You're giving £125,000 a week to Danny Ings, David Sullivan. Go do it. You know you want to.
Arguably the worst shout in the list. I was advocating for West Ham to give Eden Hazard £150,000 a week when he was just weeks from retirement. This would be like when Gareth Bale went to the MLS when his heart was no longer in the sport. He was just using them as a fancy gym. I mean, does anybody remember his time at Los Angeles? No, because he only played 12 times. Lads, it's a year later and Hazard has just spent the last season cramming charity games into his schedule. This man has been so bored. He's even played tipsy golf with that ball boy he kicked. Imagine if the Hammers put all their eggs into the Hazard basket. Instead of signing Mohamed Kudus, they'd probably have been in a relegation scrap. Hazard at West Ham would have been an expensive disaster. Like when they signed a fat Benny McCarthy, but worse.
Wolves Matt Doherty. Just bring him back. Matt Doherty's career is in a bin. He just got a dream move to Atletico Madrid, and the Irish fullback was embarrassed. The next Kieran Trippier. Nah, he played twice. Please, Wolves, please, Julian Lopetegui, just bring him back to Molyneux, because after 6 months being ignored by Diego Simeone, he probably now has the self-confidence of a socially awkward snail.
Finally, the best one in the list. This is the only suggestion that any Premier League club actually took, because a month after publishing this video, then yeah, Matt Doherty did go back to Molyneux, and he just played 37 games in all competitions. Finally, I've actually got one right. I'm giving myself an A++. Ah, thank you, Matt. It's weird. Anyway, that's the video. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Let me know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. How bad were these suggestions? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like, share, and subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.